So David, Christian, and Rome did not practice today, and then limited were RG and Wicks.
Matt, what's the level of concern with Romeo and Christian for Sunday?
Like we always say, we'll give them the whole week, and we'll see where they're at.
Matt, they're both at a different place, though, in their career than the Allen Lazards and the Devontae Adamses. So how do you approach this week, getting them ready if you don't have them practicing the way they normally would?
They are at a totally different stage of their career, but they're also our most experienced. So, again, we'll give them up till game time and see where they're at.
What is the injury that you'll list Christian with?
That'll be out at 3 o'clock. Good try, though.
52 minutes makes a big difference.
I just don't want to get into it too much, so.
Maybe deep down you're not concerned, but maybe you are. I guess what is your, it's not like you have any veteran guys behind them, right? I mean, it's all rookies and.
Yeah, it is what it is, and, but we're excited. We've got a plan in place, and, we'll play the guys that are available and ready to go, and the one thing about this league is nobody cares. You got to find a way to get it done. And I think our guys have taken that mindset. No matter who's out there, the expectations remain the same, and that is to go out there and play winning football. So, we'll get our guys ready to go.
How new is this reality for you? I mean, it is what it is, right? They're your most experienced guys. There's not experience behind them, but how different does it feel compared to past years when you did have that experience?
Yeah, it's definitely a different situation. Now, it's only on one side of the ball. Not that we don't have some young players on the defensive side of the ball as well, but, it is different. But every year is different, and every year presents different challenges, and but it's also exciting at the same time. I can't wait to see what these guys are able to do out there on game day.
Matt, in what ways have you seen Fields grow, the last 2 years, and what kind of threat does he just present with his feet and everything?
Well, he's extremely talented. I think he's gotten better and better in the passing game. He's just a threat to score on every play because he's so dynamic. You got to account for not only his ability to throw the football, obviously adding a weapon like DJ Moore presents a whole new set of challenges as well. But he can, whether it's a called run, whether they're using them in like a zone read type play, or it's a drop back or a play pass or whatever, keeper, whatever they want to do, you might have a concept glove, but he can pull it down and take it to the house. And we experienced that last year.
You obviously provide an immediate test for your run defense. What gives you confidence that y'all can defend the run better than y'all have in the past, or particularly last season?
Well, I think if you look back to the last time we played him, he did get loose on, I think was it 50 some odd yards, 52 yards or whatever it was. Outside of that, I thought we did a decent job of bottling him up a little bit. But, they're going to be committed to running the football, whether it's him or one of their backs. And shoot, they did a really good job with it last year. So I would expect them to, do similar things. However, they do have a few more weapons now, I believe, in the passing game.
Do you tailor your offensive game plan any which way based on knowing that when you have an opponent wants to run the ball and chew out clock? Does that dictate what you want to do at all offensively?
Not necessarily. I think it's still about being efficient, still about scoring points, and ultimately it's how do you win this game as a team? And I think that's something that we talk about as a staff and collectively with our team, and in terms of what do we think we are the things that we need to do in order to go out and win a football game.
You mentioned playing your starters this preseason, not just for Jordan, but the defensive side too, wanting to have more juice at the start of the year. Can you sense any difference physically or mentally with your guys compared to a year ago this time or 2 years ago this time?
It's hard to go back and just think because my mind's not there really. I do think that it was really good to just go through that process to get ready for a game. We had a couple different kickoff times, which was good for our guys, and just just getting mentally and physically prepared to go out there and battle. I mean, we play a combative sport, and the saying, I know it's cliche, but you got to get your mind right for that. And I think those 3 experiences provided our guys a little bit of that opportunity.
What sort of progress did you see from Samori this preseason if he has to take on a bigger role Sunday?
Well, I think he's just so much more comfortable within the offense. I think he's a guy that, I know he's a guy that you can line him up in any position, whether it's the X in the slot or the Z. He just has complete command and grasp of the offense, and that's a huge luxury.
Enjoying your accomplishments as head coach, what does 8-0 against the Bears mean?
Nothing. I mean, it's about going 1-0, and I mean, we all know the rivalry and not only the rivalry, but it's an NFC North opponent. So it's week 1. Week 1 has a different feel to it always. The intensity. I can still kind of remember our first year opening up on the road there in 19, and just how crazy it was. So I would imagine it being the same. It just has a playoff-like feel week 1, because everybody's geared up, the fans are geared up, our players are geared up, everybody's ready to roll and kick off the season.
Do you want Jordan to embrace that or do ignore that?
I think you got to do both. You have to embrace it, but at the same time, you got to block it out and really focus on what you need to do down in and down out. And not only that, but have the mindset that whether something good or bad happens, it's that next play mindset.
Matt, do you spend time with him on Tuesday talking about ideas and stuff like you did with Aaron? And then, I think I know the answer to this, but has he been the same guy this week, even though it's the first game that counts, as he has been throughout all the summer?
Yeah, I think he's been outstanding. He came in yesterday, and we were kind of finishing up the majority of the game plan, and had a couple questions for him, what he likes, and he gave us some input, and that helped lead us in a certain direction. So I think you always want that position in particular to be a part of that, and it's been fun, a fun process to work through with him, and just preparing him as the starter, and looking forward to seeing what we're able to accomplish on Sunday.
I know the injury report will come out at 3, but is this something that you knew about going into the long weekend, something that popped up Monday, or something that's sprung on you today?
Yes.
Matt, we talked about your inexperience at wide receiver. There's obviously the same thing at tight end, and you're going to see 2 of the guys that were veteran guys for you a year ago. Just how different of a place are you at the tight end position than you were a year ago, do you think?
Well, anytime you lose veterans, you got guys that you've seen what they can do in the heat of the battle, and certainly miss those guys. Got a lot of love and respect for those 2 guys, but at the same time, we're focused on the guys that we have, and I'm excited for these young guys to get them out there and get their first. I know they've played in the preseason, but I like I said earlier, I just think the intensity level just gets ratcheted up quite a few notches, to be honest with you.
However, you look at 8-0 against Chicago, fans from both sides are certainly aware that your first career win as a head coach was obviously there. Does it make it any more special because of the rivalry to beat them, or is it something you honestly just don't care?
I'm not worried about it. I'm worried about who's ever on our schedule this week, and that's the approach I've taken from day one. To be honest with you, I didn't even think about it until you guys said something.
Matt, for as big a spotlight as there is on Jordan, how much does it help him that he's gone through the process of preparing and starting a game in the NFL? I know it was 2 years ago, but just the fact that he went through that, what does that mean?
I think that was good for all of us. However, just the timing of that was a little bit different in terms of it happened on a Wednesday morning when you're getting ready, when you've basically got most of the plan put together, and you're like, oh, by the way, hey, you're starting this week. And so I think there wasn't probably a whole lot of time to process it. You were just like going right away, and trying to get comfortable with the game plan, whereas we've had a long period of time knowing that this day was coming. So I think he's had a much longer time to process it, but I think he's excited. I think he'll be the same guy. I've got complete confidence. Just seeing how he responded a year ago when he went into that Philly game. And so I thought he's been outstanding throughout the course of the preseason. I think he's a guy that has shown improvement each and every week. So really excited for him to get that opportunity.
Two more, please.
How's Wicks from a mental perspective? Obviously, he missed quite a bit of time with a couple different injuries during camp.
Yeah, that's always a concern because I know on the board he does a great job. When you're talking to him, he does a great job. But it's obviously about taking that knowledge and applying it to a real life situation when there's other variables. The defense could be presenting a different look, and you want to see how they respond in those situations. But he's a guy that's very intelligent. He works his tail off. He always has a ton of questions. So we've got complete confidence that he'll be able to go out there and execute.
Have you and Flea and Nate negotiated a pitch count for Rashawn? Do you have a set number in mind, and is he trying to push that number with you guys, or how does that work?
That's something that we absolutely collaborated on and making sure that we're being smart, with that situation. And certainly we all know how valuable Rashawn Gary is. He is a game wrecker. I mean, you can feel just the level of intensity raised when he's out on the field, and I think we've all witnessed that. So, but we got to be smart with him. I mean, this is a long season. It's a marathon. And never want to put him in a position that's going to, be harmful for him or our football team, because I know this, whether it's one play is a hell of a lot better than 0 plays with him. So however many plays that we decide to throw him in there, he'll be ready to go for those.
As much as Jordan played preseason camp, he hasn't seen a lot of pass rush, especially on an intricate level. But how do you prepare him for that when it's not like it's going to be week one? How do you prepare him for that in camp?
Say that one more time.
As much as Jordan played in camp, as much as you've seen him in the preseason, he hasn't seen a lot of pass rush, certainly not schemed up until, like you'll see Sunday. How do you prepare him?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's why these game reps are invaluable. The more experience you get, usually the more comfortable you get in the pocket. And it's not just about him. It is the guys up front. It's the backs. It's the tight ends. It's the wideouts if we need them. Making sure that we're all on the same page in terms of how to pick certain things up. I will say this about Chicago's defense. They do an unbelievable job of scheming up and creating pressure and creating problems for an offense. I got a lot of respect for how hard their team plays, and it definitely shows up on tape.